Today we're at Dream Machines of Texas to install a SuperBrace fork stabilizer on this Harley-Davidson Nightster. The tools you need for this job are a 5mm hex wrench, a 5mm hex socket, an 8mm hex socket, a ratchet, and a torque wrench. Before we start, make sure you have the correct SuperBrace for your year and make and model of motorcycle. The SuperBrace for the Nightster comes in 3 finishes, a polished, a denim, and a gloss. Today, we're installing the denim. Our Nightster doesn't have a center stand, so we're going to place a block of wood under the kickstand to bring it to an upright position. Make sure the front wheel is facing straight ahead. At the bottom of each front fork, you'll notice an axle pinch bolt. Using an 8mm socket, loosen these, but do not remove them. Go ahead and disassemble the SuperBrace by removing the 4 5mm hex bolts. Once the bolts are removed, you can separate the 2 halves of the SuperBrace. Now you can lift up the rubber boot or fork gaiter from the bottom and using a rag clean the fork tubes. Now we're ready to install the front half of the SuperBrace on the fork tubes. Raise up the rubber gaiters and set the fork brace so that the machined edge of the fork brace sits down on top of the fork tube as shown. Once you have that in place, then you can carefully put the back piece of the SuperBrace in place so that it lines up with the front half. Now the back piece is the one with holes in it for the bolts. Install the 4 5mm bolts that hold the SuperBrace together and hand tighten using a socket. Using a torque wrench, tighten each of these bolts to 10 foot-pounds. The last step is to re-torque your front axle pinch bolts to factory specifications. Now pump your front fork several times to make sure nothing's in a bind.